Hey guys, welcome back to our homestead. So we are doing a lot of upgrades, making a lot of changes right now. So as you can see, we are in the middle of painting some fences. These are going to be our front gardens, and I thought it would be a good time. We have done a lot in the last few weeks. We have had a baby, and then we have added just a ton to our homestead. So I thought it would be a good time for us to kind of walk through and show you guys what we have been able to do in the last few weeks, and maybe talk a little bit about why these are the decisions that we decided to go with. So last year, our gardens consisted of basically just I want to say it's like 16 by 16 area in our backyard, which I will show you guys, but we decided to kind of expand that, majorly expand that this year. So we opted to put some gardens in the front of our house. So in this garden specifically, we are going to have a pepper garden, and it's going to be just all different kinds of peppers. We can can them, we can freeze them, we can use them all year round, and it's something that we purchase a lot of. So it's good for us to be able to be a little bit more self-sufficient with that. So we're going to do a lot of peppers, and then in our box here right now, we have baby chicks and baby ducks. We're using it as a brooder, which I can show you guys. That's so fun. It's always fun to have the little babies on the farm, but we will use that as a kitchen garden. So that box is going to have lots of herbs. I'm going to plant some cherry tomatoes in it as well. And then that is what we're going to use that for. I will add to this, by the way, you guys are getting full homestead look today. We are about a week and a half postpartum, and so I'm super excited to finally be able to wear pants again. But we have homestead hair and paint clothes going on, so sorry about that. So on this side of our front gardens, we have another box, and that one is going to ultimately have cucumbers in it. I learned last year that the cucumbers can just kind of go crazy. They killed some other plants. They ended up like growing up some of our tomatoes, and so I want to make sure and keep those completely separate. So we'll have some cucumbers in that front box as well. One of the things that is just my favorite thing about these gardens is that we decided to add these swings. We didn't necessarily need, you'll notice that there's no the fence is mostly just to keep everything contained. We're not actually using it to try to keep anything out. Now we could put some chicken wire on the inside, staple it on. It would be very simple to use. But because of that, we didn't necessarily need a gate. It was a spider on me. That's homesteading. We didn't necessarily need a gate. So on both sides, we put these swings. It ended up costing us about, what did we end up saying? Like $30, $40, something like that. My husband is shaking his head, yes. That we ended up spending about $40 extra for both swings combined. And let me tell you, this is definitely so far the favorite part of these gardens. So I love they're facing each other. They're far enough away from each other where two kids can swing at the same time. And it's really going to help get them kind of in the garden with me this summer while I'm out here doing stuff. So this side of our garden is going to be peas. It's going to be green beans. Maybe a couple other things. I haven't decided for sure on that. But then on the other side, this side is bigger. On the other side of this garden is going to be lots of cut flowers. So we ended up doing cut flowers last year in our front gardens, and they did amazingly well. They were so beautiful. And I love that they brought in some great pollinators for us. We had hummingbirds and butterflies and bees all over the place in our front gardens last year. So that was super helpful, and I wanted to make sure and include that. So we are adding a ton of cut flowers to our front gardens this year as well. In addition to that, we are planting some flowers We will get more extensive in the years to come, I'm sure, but this year we are planting some wisteria on both sides of our swings in the front. So that's going to grow up and kind of cover this and cover some of the front fences, and it's going to be really beautiful. One of the things that we have to make sure and do is kind of stay on top of what we are bringing in our homestead. And for right now, that means we have a ton of eggs. So I'm going to use some eggs right now to make some ice cream. So technically this is frozen custard because it does have eggs in it. But I am going to start with 2 full eggs right in my mixer here. And these guys will get crunched up and go to the compost bin in the back, which is looking great. And then to that, I'm going to add 1 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. With the whisk attachment on, I am going to blend this up for a good probably 5 minutes. We're gonna see it get like really pale in color and thick, and when I pull the mixer top up, it's going to fall back on itself in a ribbon, and that's what you want. So there's a lot of debate, I guess, because this does have raw egg in it. I have had some people say that doing this with the sugar technically cooks the egg, and then I've heard people say that it doesn't. So if you, for whatever reason, are discouraged or shouldn't be eating raw egg if you're pregnant, then eat this at your own risk. I will say the whole time I was pregnant with our baby, I still ate it and everything was fine. So there's that. So I'm going to turn my mixer on and get this going for about 5 minutes. So I'm sure you can see that this is much paler in color now, and when I pull this up, it just sort of falls back on itself like a ribbon, and it is perfect. So we only have a few more ingredients. So while I was letting this mix, I did go ahead and pour 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. That's actually gonna be the last thing that we add though. I'm gonna add just a pinch of salt, no more than maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon. This is just gonna offset the sweetness a little bit, and it's just gonna give it, I don't know, a little something. And then to that, I'm gonna add about 1 tablespoon of vanilla. Now my family is like weird about the vanilla that we use. They really prefer this imitation vanilla flavor. Of course, if you make your own or if you're using real vanilla, feel free to do that. If you really wanted to go crazy, you could also use vanilla bean, and then that's pretty too. So I'm gonna do a little mix. Okay, I just want to get that in there because I do not want to whip this heavy cream at all. I just want it to be mixed in. Perfect. I'm going to give this a really quick mix. That is it on that. So this is our ice cream or custard base. And I am going to put this in an ice cream maker. That unfortunately is necessary for this. But before I do that, I want to make sure that this gets really cold. It's just going to make the ice cream maker work a little bit better. But you can see how creamy that is. So I am just going to stick this in the refrigerator for a couple hours, get it nice and cold, and then we will be ready to churn it. So my ice cream base or custard base, I'm sorry, has chilled, and I'm going to stick it in my ice cream maker. So this ice cream maker I actually got secondhand, but it just has this bowl that you take out, and this part freezes. You can get ice cream makers with a compressor in it, so you don't have to have that bowl, but those are hundreds of dollars. This one you can usually get at like Target, Walmart, Amazon, places like that for like maybe 30 bucks, 40 bucks at most. Not a crazy expensive kitchen gadget, but it is necessary if you want to make this ice cream. So my base has chilled, and I'm going to pour it directly in here. And then on top of that, I'm going to finish filling that up with milk. So I'm not sure if you can see how much space is left in there, but I am just going to pour it to the top of that, pretty close to the top of that, with milk. The reason I didn't fill it all the way to the top is because we are going to make banana ice cream today. So you can just make this, and this is a really, really delicious vanilla, but we have some bananas that are starting to get overripe. Nobody is going to eat these once they have like brown spots on them in our house. And so I am just going to mash up a banana or two, and we're going to add that into the ice cream. I think one banana is probably going to be good for this amount of ice cream. So this ice cream maker has a little paddle that you stick on. You're just going to stick that down in, attach the top one, and then I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to let it churn for about half an hour. I want to start off by saying, if you guys hear some baby noises, we have our newest little homesteader with us right now, and she is quite a loud breather right now. So she's taking a little nap. So if you guys hear that, that's what it is. But I wanted to show you the next thing that we have kind of been working on here, and that is our orchard. So we have like a small orchard. We have 7 trees. 2 of them are apple trees. This one is a peach tree. We actually got them at a local farm store, Aiken Farm and Panel. Shout out to Ethan and Kelsey. You guys are amazing. And we are so impressed. So these are, I don't know, maybe 6 feet, 7 feet tall. They are 3rd-year trees, so we should be seeing some fruit in the next couple of years or so. In fact, I have one little peach that is growing right now, which is really fun. I'm going to pull that off because this tree is definitely too young for us to put any kind of fruit on it yet. But we do have some tiny little things that we can see some growth in. So of the 7 trees that we invested in, every single one of them have survived the moving here and the planting, and we could not be more pleased about that. So our little orchard is kind of taking off right now, but we didn't have any sort of shade at all for us to even as a family go hang out in. So this is going to really take care of that issue, because this whole area is going to be shaded once these trees are full grown. They are not dwarf or semi-dwarf trees. These are the actual size trees, so they're going to get about the same size as our house in the next few years. So we're pretty excited about that. It's going to be super shaded right here, and we are very excited about getting to spend some time under those shade trees, as well as getting the fruit off of them, because of course we're going to use these to preserve and make tons of stuff and be able to have apples and peaches hopefully all year long, and that's going to be pretty awesome. So right now we're in our original back garden. We have, one of my favorite things was the brick path that my husband and kids put in, and I am loving that. It's so useful. But this is our original garden space. We have a big garden bed in the back, a raised bed, and this is going to be potatoes for us this year. I actually need to get those planted. We're well past time. Right now we have some lettuce growing in it, and so I'm just going to kind of plant around that. And then this is going to, back here, be pretty much entirely tomatoes. So tomatoes and potatoes are going to be back here. We use a lot of pasta and pizza sauce, and we are almost done with what we canned last summer, and so I'm pretty excited to get some plants in the ground and start growing some stuff so that we can preserve more of that, because that definitely has had a huge impact, not just on our budget, but I can just feel a difference. I actually was just telling my husband this morning that I have never felt this good this quickly after a baby was born, especially after a C-section, and it has blown my mind how much living this lifestyle has made such a big difference. I'm outside, I'm in the sun, I'm drinking more water, I am definitely moving more, but the food that we're eating is real food, and I can definitely tell a difference in my body and how I'm responding to things. So pretty excited to get more tomatoes planted back here because they have made such a huge difference in our diet. We are now back in the back part of our property, and this is where we have planted our berry patch, or we are working on planting our berry patch. We have holes for strawberries ready to go. Those are not in the ground yet. We need to move some from a different part of our property, and then I'm probably going to invest in some more strawberry plants this year. But we do have 4 grapevines that we have planted. We did get 4 blackberry bushes, so they're thornless blackberries. That's going to be really helpful for kids. Definitely suggest that. Blackberries grow amazing in Oklahoma, so I'm pretty excited about having those. We will definitely make good use of all of those blackberries. And then the last thing that we have planted back here are blueberries. So one thing that I did before we started planting was I wanted to check our soil. So berries and grapes grow really well in acidic soil, and I needed to make sure that our soil was acidic like we needed it to be. So a really quick, simple way to check that is you can get soil from different parts of your property if you want to check different parts. I had my son bring in 2 paper plates full of soil from specifically this area back here. And in one of them, we poured vinegar on top. And on one of them, we mixed up some baking soda and water and poured that on top. If the soil is acidic, it's going to have a chemical reaction with the baking soda. If it is not acidic, it's going to have a reaction with the vinegar. So we did that, and we got bubbles with the baking soda, so that told me that our soil was more on the acidic side. And it was a really cheap, fun little science project that we got to do, and it worked great. So we have had these berry bushes and grapevines in for about 2 weeks now, and so far everything has survived, and we definitely have growth on everything. So I know right now that we have really good soil for what we need it to do back here, and that was a really quick and easy test for us to figure that out. Okay, our ice cream has been churning for about half an hour now. We got some flowers planted, really getting a lot done today, which is awesome. So I'm going to pull this top part off here, the little motor part. And this is nice and creamy and mostly frozen. Now, if you want to serve this as like a soft serve, you can go ahead and serve it right now. I always like to have this done a little bit before we're actually going to eat it, because I like to freeze it a little bit better. So I'm just going to stick this in some bowls that I can put in the freezer. I'm going to freeze this for just a few hours until it is pretty solid, and then we are done. That is it for the ice cream. So thank you guys so much for watching our updated homestead tour. I'm so excited to bring you guys along with us. I know our family is really loving any of the comments that you guys are leaving, and we love to read those as a family. So feel free to leave comments, subscribe, join us on this really fun journey that we're on. So that is it. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.